Whenever I see a skateboarder, I see someone who knows what it means to struggle, knows what pain is, knows what perseverance is all about. We go out of our own way just for a trick, whether it be, either half an hour, an hour, days even, because, we see something and we want it. That's what we're about. That's what we like to tackle.
When I started skating, I basically started because of my brother. And the spot I'm about to go to right now is one of the first ones we ever skated. It was almost nothing, just a crack. But we really thought we were jumping some shit back then.
I've really become obsessed with it in the past couple years. It's a fun way for me to exercise and get outside and get fresh air and meet new people and not just stay stuck in my head, but really have a goal to better myself and work towards something that I am proud of.
I met Luis through church when we were about 11 years old. I believe like 2-3 years later, I became homeless, and Luis used to give me his old skateboards and his old shoes so I could skate. And I mean, that was a huge help as a kid who didn't have any money. During my teen years, I struggled a lot with depression. I had a lot of bad thoughts and a lot of bad tendencies, and there's stuff that I just didn't want to do, and Marisa would always get me out of bed and out of my house, take me to skate parks, and I think that influenced a lot of my skateboarding and a lot of who I am now. And Marisa, if you're watching this, thank you.
For me, I didn't build community in skating until after college, really. Growing up, I was the only one of my friends who skated, so I would just skate alone and go to parking lots, sometimes skate parks. But I found some queer skating groups through Instagram and was able to build community there and make friends there.
Hey, I'm Eric Ramirez, and I'm a mentor at the Garage Workshop, and right there I'm known as Cricket. I mentor kids, which is help them all with their homework, their skating lessons.
It was a law firm. Worked at the very top. You can see 360 degrees from the office space. There were moments when I would see people that I knew skating down below. It took me years to build up enough courage to skate on my lunch breaks. Embarrassed by the track record that skateboarding had in certain social circles.
The general population says, hey, skateboarding is bad. You're gonna get hurt, you're breaking things, you are trespassing, you are all these laws, all these things that limit you. Skateboarding is what brings the unlimited in us.
Skateboarding is all about being in the present, and it's teaching me to take things moment by moment.
Honestly, for me, the best part of skating isn't doing crazy impressive tricks in front of others, but actually the little moments when you surprise yourself.
Because before I skated, I was just like general sports. I played like tennis and football, and I had a really bad temper. I didn't really love myself, I guess you could say. But then, because I don't know, they weren't real outlets for the emotions I would hold in.
You can try a trick hundreds of times and not get it, but then when you finally get it, that was all you. You did that because you put your mind to it and made it happen. And there's no better teacher than that, that just basically is experience, so it teaches you to just try and try again.
This is going to sound really bad, but you also become a loser because you lose so many battles. You lose so many battles for one win, You could try a trick 100 times just to land it on the 101st try.
So over the years, I've always felt dismissed from a lot of people over just being a skater, like my family, my coworkers, everything, they didn't take it seriously. They always really thought it was just a phase that I would eventually grow out of. But, it sucked to not have that support. Like, let's say if I was a sports player, a soccer player, basketball player, I'm sure my family would have maybe pushed me a little bit more to
really go for it. And I hated that I was embarrassed to tell people that being a professional skater is what I aspire to be. I was always a little ashamed of that.
Our coach, Lalo Diaz, used to drive a golf cart while eating donuts as we ran loops around the track behind him. He always used to talk down on Ryan and I after he found out that we were friends through skateboarding. You will never amount to anything if you skateboard, he used to say. Stick to the running.
I think that more places should take away their bans on skateboarding, especially in public places. They think they're protecting society or doing something highly moral-driven. But what about us? Some of us use skating as a way to cope with stress and mental challenges. So stop hating us as menaces, because we're human too.
People could care less about skaters on the street. People could care less about whether they have lives or whether they have people that they love, because all they have is perception. All they have is what they see on the outside.
I was about 5. My brother was 10 years old, and they would threaten me and my brother and say that they were going to snap our boards if we didn't leave and if we didn't stop skating there.
As someone who is perceived as now a boy or a man at a skate park or when I'm skating, it's interesting. I'm like, I don't know. Honestly, when I was a girl, looked like a girl, and I was skating, it was like, oh, wow, that girl can skate. And now it's probably like, that dude's not that good. Which is fucked up, but I feel like...
It seems like I'm never a good enough skater for them. Even when I am landing things and clearly, like, frustrates them that I'm, like, better, they just want me to feel less than.
It felt like because I was a girl, I had to prove myself to these men. I even wondered that if I had been dressed with more feminine clothing, if I would have gotten more attention. I'm curious if guy skaters have ever had to deal with this, and why do non-skaters who are also guys feel that it's their place to give comments to me or to stare at me or to literally stop me and talk to me and continue to flirt with me? Is it just because I'm a girl?
I never really felt welcomed regardless of what skate park I went to, because it always felt like all eyes were on you, and like especially if you're going to a new skate park, all the locals or regulars who were there were the ones who would always like judge and kind of give you like faces, but I felt like you had to meet a certain standard for them to like you, and honestly, I feel like that's not the way things should be when it comes to skateboarding.
Just an interesting space to occupy, because I'm like, am I actually skating? Like, this feels so fun and it's so beautiful to me, and like I'm literally having the time of my life, but imposter syndrome, duality. I'm in a skate study and I'm like, am I even a skateboarder?
It sucks because like people say like, oh, there's no rules in skateboarding, like you can do whatever you want, but there's rules. We all know there's rules. It's more like there's no rules if you rip.
I hope that toxic skaters just chill out. You know, it's not their right to gatekeep skateboarding just because someone fit in their niche, whether it is about gender or race or something else.
It can cause stress if you are attempting a mentally draining trick or skating a scary or dangerous obstacle. I believe this trick took me 6 different days. The stress of that battle made me hate skating. Yet, giving up would have meant a major waste of time. The feeling was priceless when I rolled away. It was all worth it, just for a 3-second clip.
So we've already officially hit a year in the pandemic, and one thing I can't say is that skateboarding has really helped me through it. Skating away the stress, the anxiety.
skating is a way out of your head. All my problems, I wouldn't say would go away to the fullest, but it would be easier to forget.
Skating is an outlet to reduce stress. It's like yoga, moving meditation. It can help heal pain associated with a bad grade on an exam, heartbreak, or an argument with a friend or loved one.
I am a proud plus-size skater. Just because I'm fat doesn't mean I'm not an athlete. It doesn't mean I can't skate. Society likes to put up invisible barriers to stop people from participating in things, but I'm here to knock this one down.
And so one day I started kind of dressing baggier and wearing stuff that made me feel more comfortable. And sometimes like I look bigger, like in a picture or something. But then also I remember like I felt good doing it. So I'm like, maybe I should just keep doing that. Keep doing stuff that makes me look good instead of trying to fit into like what I think society wants me to look like. And so I think that was one of the best lessons the skateboard taught me is like find what makes you comfortable, what makes you happy.
For some reason, the space of like skating with like femme people was just like a lot easier for me. I felt a lot freer of judgment there, because I felt like I could just exist as a skater and not have to be so conscious of my like identity as a woman, if that makes sense.
And at times when I get overwhelmed, I can easily just fix everything by cruising down my street. And now I'm living on a hill. I was so happy to live on a hill because just going in a straight line soothes everything in my body. And I can come back and do everything with my thoughts collected, but my leg is broken at the moment. So for now, I just sit here and I don't know. I just don't know how to do things properly anymore because I don't have that one thing that just brings me back to life.
I never thought, I could still be injured and be outside and still be happy. This day was very important to me. It reminded me what I really loved about skateboarding. And it's just my friends. These are my people. This is my Skatopia. It's my family. And without skateboarding, I would have never found the people that I am so in love with, and they're so in love with me.
Yeah, like the days I am angry, like you can go skate, but like in sports, if you're mad, like you're just gonna put all that energy towards another person. I don't want to like be mean to anybody, but like a curb or a ledge doesn't care if you like thrash into it. You can smash into it as much as you want. It's not gonna, get its feelings hurt. It's not. I mean, it's probably gonna hurt you more than anything. And I remember specifically like in college, like the days when I would have like back-to-back classes, just like having like those 5 minutes to skate down the hill to my next class, just like relieve my head and put me in a good space like for the next lesson I had. And like I remember it was the same thing with like other kids. We all just like go skate together like in between classes, and it like helped us just like calm down and get ready for the next class and like really like put your mind in the right state to go study.
Do whatever you want, but also like not at the expense of other people. You know what I mean? I think that's like really, like every skater knows that, I think. It's like you can't all skate the bowl at once. There's something to that. Like you need to take your turn, like, or else like we're all gonna crash into each other.
So what I would like for the entirety of the world to know and be made aware is how skateboarding can be more than just a piece of wood and 4 wheels. I want to see the skate study change the world in a way where skateboarding is publicly known that it could bring you a good life. It could provide you with great skills and life lessons and even bring you to a better state of mind.
I really hope that for this research study, the world will see all the beautiful things that we see through skating. There's always something driving us forward to keep us from being overcome by these giant emotional burdens, and rather come out of something difficult with the will to make it through every day.
One other thing is that skateboarders aren't all bad. They always try to paint a picture of us as outcasts or whatever, and it's like, no, like we're just people just like you, and we just want to do our thing respectfully while you do yours.
I want someone to be able to put skateboarding on their college applications and for it to have a positive effect on the reviewer instead of a negative one because of like stigma that skateboarding might carry.
I don't want to see teachers talking down to future generations of skaters like I experienced when I was in high school.
I want the study to inform people who have never touched a skateboard that skateboarding is not a waste of time, that skateboarding is worth all the struggles and injuries that always happen. I want this study to influence people to grab a skateboard and start this journey that us skaters are on.
Our skateboards are there for us even when no one else is. Skateboarding gets us outside, it gets us moving, and it brings us peace and clears the mind. Through skateboarding, we build community and lift each other up, teach each other, and mentor each other.
I would hope they understand that skateboarding does have culture and that we aren't just a whole bunch of dirty rats just fucking up their curbs, you know what I mean? Just getting in them.
Yeah, maybe some skateboarders have tarnished the name, but at the end of the day, it's in the name of their mental health and their sake, and that's why they do it.
I want everybody to know that I use it for transportation to and from work. I run into a lot of crazy things every day, so I do always gotta watch my own back, but as long as the wheels still keep rolling, that's what matters.
I'd like to see it as a driver in academics and other educational areas because I see it as a gateway to things like architecture and physics and engineering and design and law. And I'd like to see avenues for it as a sport, taken far more seriously. I'd like to see skateboarding's economy grow and also be able to offer these skateboarders things like health insurance.
I just hope that the lasting impact is that like people don't feel alone in their thoughts and their doubts. Skating has, as does any sport, but like skating has a way of bringing us all to like focus in on something very special, and that special thing comes with special conundrums.
I also hope that this study is taken seriously by members of the skate community. There is a lot of improvement that needs to be done by people of privilege within the culture to make it more accepting in every sense.
What I want the outside world to know about skating is that it's not just for one group of people. It doesn't belong to white people. It doesn't belong to white men. It doesn't belong to people who can only land kickflips. If skating could be another option in programs that already exist for youth, for positive development, or something where youth had the option to see skating in that way and to have skating used for their benefit.
I hope that whoever encounters this study will be able to see that not only are skateboarders people who have emotions and feelings and hardships, but that we are just trying to get through life too. And the way that we've found to do that is to skate.